Record. Excellent. Okay, so welcome in, guys. Saturday morning. Just to start with, we're not going to spend too long seated because I want to get us moving fairly quickly because it's morning and we need to get the energy up for our weekends. But just to begin with, find a comfortable way of sitting, however that is. But actually, I keep reminding myself to say this is your practice. So actually, if any of the cues, any of the suggestions for postures don't work for you, then own your practice. You guys have all been practicing with me or with other people for a while. So listen to the feedback, meet your body where it's at this morning. And as an example, if right now you think, you know, I just really want to lie down, don't want to sit up, lie down. And I will remind everyone at the end, when we come into Shavasana, actually no, this applies throughout the whole class. If you want to turn your camera off, then please do. Obviously, I then can't see you, but it's quite hard to see people anyway. If you just want to feel like you're just practicing along, but don't want to be on camera, turn it off at any time. I certainly won't be offended, and I'm sure nobody else will be as well. Okay, so wiggle around, get connected into the earth. And then if you've got a nice view in front of you, keep the eyes open, but otherwise either look down softly to the floor in front of you or close your eyes and start to tune in to your breath. And after a couple of kind of rounds of noticing the breath, just come back to the physical body and just notice if any tension has crept in. Because sometimes I find when I'm concentrating, I get tense in the front body. So my solar plexus, my belly, my jaw, kind of forehead area. So if you notice that any of those areas feel tight, can you consciously soften them? Because it's mobility, flexibility is difficult when the body is hard and tense. So let's try and maintain that softness even while we're building strength. So feeling the breath in the body, noticing where you're feeling the breath today, and also noticing how the breath feels. So for me, I'm noticing it feels quite tight across the front of my chest, almost a slightly burning sensation. So if you were to describe your breath now to yourself, what words would you use? And you're not describing the breath to create any judgment, any dialogue, any story. It's just as a way of becoming more aware. And as you continue to sit, just notice if any tension has crept into the body again, consciously soften. It's an ongoing dialogue, ongoing process. And then we're going to move into box breathing. So just as a reminder, we create an equal inhale, pause, exhale, and pause. I'll lead you through a couple of rounds and then leave you for a few more. So if you're ready, we're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. If that rhythm works for you, stay with that. Otherwise, adjust, just making sure that all parts of the breath cycle are equal. Finish the round you're on and then do one more complete round. And then drop back into your regular breath pattern. Lose the count, lose the conscious extension of the pauses. And then once you feel settled in your breath, gently allow the eyes to open. Change the cross of your legs if you're sitting cross-legged. And then we just bring our hands out in front of us, arms parallel, warm up the wrists. So as you inhale, draw the fingertips up to the ceiling, even slightly back towards the body, and exhale, drop them down, even curling them under. So breath in, breath out. One more like this. And then turn the palms facing up. As you inhale, draw the pinkies away from each other. And as you exhale, draw the hands in. So it's quite an unusual movement. It might feel quite stiff in the wrists. And then turn the hands back down, loose fists, and just take some circles. One way. And then the other. And then bring the hands out to the side into goalposts. Inhale here, and then as you exhale, just bring the hands down. Good. And then we're going to pop hands onto shoulders. Inhale here, exhale, draw the elbows in towards each other. Good, and then just do some circles. If your shoulders are anything like mine this morning, they're going to feel really crunchy. Good, and then staying seated, just do some ankle warm-ups before we come onto all fours. So again, just as we did with the hands, you're going to point and flex the feet. And then kind of similar to the hand movement, we've done this one before, going to draw the pinkies away from each other and then draw the big toes in. So you can either have the feet together or apart. I haven't figured out which for me feels easier. And you're trying to keep the action in the ankles rather than just letting the whole legs roll in and out. So it's kind of around the ankle joint. It's really tricky there. Just a couple of those. Good. And then we'll come onto all fours. And straight away start to move. So I don't want to be prescriptive how you move. Just respond to the feedback from your body. I know some of you are feeling stiff because lockdown is an opportunity to do lots of exercise. So just meet your body where it's at. And as you're moving, if you find a space where you think, oh God, yeah, that's really tight or really stiff, and really noticing that feeling of stretch, maybe stay there for a couple of breaths, just allowing some space into those tight muscles. And then come back to stillness. And on an inhale, take your right leg out behind you. And as you exhale, bend the knee, bring it forward towards the right back of the elbow. So tiger curls. Two or three. And then we're going to keep the leg extended out behind us. And we're going to take it out to the side, point your toes away from you, and then bring it across the body, tap the toes down. And it's a controlled movement, so you're not just swinging your leg around, trying to keep the rest of the body fairly still. Waking up the hip joint, also the glutes will start to wake up. And then next time the leg is behind you, come onto the ball of the foot and then turn towards that right foot. So stretching into the side body. Couple more breaths. And then unwind, come back to your tabletop, stabilize here again. We're going to take the left leg out behind and then draw the knee in towards the elbow 3 or 4 times. And then we'll take it behind, out to the side, and then across, out to the side, across. 1 or 2 more, and then we'll keep the leg behind, onto the ball of the foot, and turn the body, or turn the head towards that left foot. Feel length through the left side waist. Good. Come back to your tabletop. On an inhale, lift the right arm up, turn the chest towards the side, and exhale. Thread, but don't come all the way down. We're just going to move through this a couple of times. And then this time, as you exhale, thread the arm through, come down onto the back of the right shoulder, right arm, back of the hand, into your thread the needle. And then left hand can stay where it is, or you can explore other variations, which might look like reaching the left hand in front of you, lifting it up to the ceiling, or taking a half bind. Again, just feeling into what's going to work for your body today. One more breath here, and then use an exhale to unwind, bring you back to tabletop. And we'll go on the other side. So other arm up, I guess is the left arm. Lift it up tall. And then as you exhale, bring it underneath the right arm. Don't touch down yet. We'll just bring some movement back in. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, come down. Last time, inhale. Feel that stretch into the armpits. And then exhale, thread the needle through, come down onto the back of the shoulder, back of the arm, back of the hand. Rest down. And then exploration with that right hand. And don't feel you need to be completely balanced and do exactly the same as you did on the other side. That may not work. Just notice here if tension has crept back, if hardness has crept back into the body. Can you release? Can you soften? One more breath, one more inhale, and then exhale, unwind. So from your tabletop, we're going to come down into child's pose and just flow through some child's pose, cat and cows and back. So we'll start off, I'll lead you through a breath pattern, but this might not work for you, so you can try reversing it. But we're going to inhale up into angry cat. We're going to exhale down into cow, so that's kind of the opposite way that we normally do it. We're going to inhale up into angry cat and exhale back down into child's pose. We'll reverse the order in a minute. So inhale up, round through the spine, exhale into the cow, soft around your sit bones, around your inner groin. Inhale, round up again, and exhale back down. Flow through that a couple of times. So it's kind of a very fluid motion. We're not kind of having breaks in between the poses. You're just flowing between them, starting to get some motion coming into the body. And also that observation, which bits feel tense, that feel a bit sticky, that don't feel like they're flowing freely. And it could be the whole lot. Often is for me doing this first thing in the morning. Next time you are back in child's pose, we're going to reverse the flow. So we're going to inhale, snake forward into cow. Exhale, round into cat. Inhale into your cow again, and then exhale, press back to child's pose. So there's this inhale forward into your cow. Exhale, round up into cat. Inhale back into cow, and exhale, press back to child's pose. Try that for 2 or 3 rounds. Next time you're back in child's pose, bring yourself up into tabletop. And from tabletop, curl the toes under. We will come up into down dog, but just first, let's take bear pose. Let's stretch into the underside of our feet. So take a nice inhale. Exhale, press the palms of the hands down, press the balls of the feet down. And then on your next inhale, hover your knees. And you're trying to keep your tabletop position. So as you're hovering your knees, you're not coming into a kind of a cat or a cow, staying nice and neutral. Draw your sit bones back behind you. Hold the pose, but not your breath. I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not holding it as long as you. One more breath. And then use the exhale to lift the sit bones up towards the ceiling into down dog. And if it feels right to stay static in this first down dog, then do that, but otherwise move it. Paddle the feet, move the hips, just as you did in tabletop. No prescription, just movement. I can't remember who said movement is medicine, but it really is. Just allow the body to move freely. A couple more rounds. Beautiful. And then come back to stillness in your down dog. From here, come right up onto the balls of the feet. Look forward in between the hands, and then make your way to the front of your mat, however you want to get there. You probably need to have at least a micro bend in the knees. Let everything hang down, crown of the head reaching for the floor. Feel how the weight is coming down through the legs, through the soles of the feet, and make sure that it's equal. So if you think about your feet as a triangle with a point under the ball of the big toe, little toe, and right in the middle of the heel. And then very slowly on an inhale, really strong through the legs, so the lower back is protected. Rise up, draw the arms up overhead. Reach up through the, I was about to say the soles of the fingers, the tips of the fingers. Shoulders will rise up here. That's only natural. So you're not trying to shrug them down. Let the arms be tall, coming up towards the ears. We'll take a side bend. So you're going to take your, let's bend over to the right to begin with. And not allowing the body to turn, so you're staying in the same plane. You may want to take hold of your left wrist with your right hand to ease yourself over a little bit more, bumping the hips over to the left. But at the same time, not crunching into that right side. So if you're, we've all got them, if your rolls are getting tighter, then can you ease out a little bit and almost feel like you're leaning over a barrel, so you're stretching, reducing the rolls. One more breath. And then exhale, come back up. Release the grip. Inhale, reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, take it over to the other side. All the same points apply. So if your rolls are getting more noticeable, can you lift up and over rather than just down? You may want to hold your right wrist with your left hand to help that process. And then reach all the way up. hands down. We're going to start to flow through some lunge salutation. So if you like padding for your knee, then pop a blanket or a pillow down where your knee is going to land. Back at the front of your mat, we'll start to move a little bit more, not rapidly, but we'll keep flowing. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Bend both knees, hands down, big step back with the right foot. Drop down onto the right knee, and then sweep the arms up. And you may want to be really still here and hold, or you may want a little bit of backwards and forwards motion. Feeling it a little bit more deeply, maybe on the right hip crease. And then we're going to bring the left hand down on the outside of the left foot, turn the body to the side, right fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then start to draw 3 circles in one direction with that right arm. And then take it back in the opposite way. Good. And then you're going to take that right hand and bring the palm of the hand onto the back of the head and then lift the elbow. Can you get a bit deeper into that twist? So the chest opens to the side. Very helpful when I'm doing it the opposite way to you guys. Really open up. One more breath. And then exhale, release the hand, bring it on the inside of the left foot, and then lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. So you're twisting in towards your inner left thigh. And again, draw some circles with the arms. Get some movement, get some blood flow into the shoulder. 3 in one direction and 3 in the opposite direction. And then you're going to take your left hand onto the back of the head, lift the elbow up. Oh, that's a big stretch. One more breath. And then release their left hand onto the outside of the left foot, curl up onto the ball of the right foot so that the knee raises. Got my words are all over the place this morning. And then you're going to step that left foot back into your plank. And then your practice. So we're going to come down and come into Sphinx pose. So if you want to drop the knees, or otherwise if you want to lower down through full chaturanga. Once you're down, slide your forearms out in front of you. Tops of the feet pressed down, back body is engaged. Feel like you're dragging your arms in towards your body. Soften through the chest and have your gaze straight in front of you so that you're not lifting your chin. So the back of the neck stays long. One more breath here. And then slide the belly down, hands underneath your shoulders, press up into tabletop, curl the toes under, lift back to down dog. In down dog, bring the feet together and at the back of the mat, lift the right leg, bring it tall, bring it high, roll it forward, land it, and bring it in between the hands if it doesn't get there straight away. And then drop down onto the left knee, top of the left foot. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And again, you may want to just stay here, or you may want to just kind of move in and out a little bit. And then we're going to come to stillness. We're going to leave the left arm up this time. The right hand comes down on the outside of the right foot. Chest will turn to the side. And then draw the arm circles. And they may start to feel a little bit more easeful as this is the second side. 3 in one direction, and then 3 in the opposite direction. And then when you've done that, back of the left hand onto the back of the head, lift the elbow open through the chest. As you do that, just make sure that that right knee stays coming forward, doesn't start to roll in the way that mine just did. One more breath. And then gently unwind. So left hand on the inside of the right foot, right hand lifts, chest opens to the opposite side. And then 3 circles with the arm in one direction, 3 in the opposite direction. And moving the arm to feel the movement, to feel how the shoulder blades move, not just to fling it around and get through it as quickly as possible. When you've done your 3 in each direction, you're going to take the back of the palm of the right hand onto the back of the head and open, elbow lifts up to the sky. And then gently exhale, release the hand down, frame the front foot, lift up onto the ball of the back foot, and then step back to plank. Lower down onto your belly, flowing through a vinyasa. Gently lift into cobra or stick with sphinx and make your way back to down dog, however you want to get there. And always remember, when I cue that vinyasa, so high plank down to low plank, cobra, down dog, it's entirely optional. If you want to just move straight back to down dog, that's a really good option. From here, come right up on the balls of the feet to make your way to the front of the mat. Soft knees, and then inhale, rise all the way up, and exhale, hands into heart center. Let's just finish by doing the second side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, left foot back first this time. Take it back slowly, drop down onto the left knee, top of the left foot, and then inhale, reach the arms up. This time as we exhale, we're going to take the hands behind, interlace the palms, draw the inner shoulder blades together. But what we're not doing here is just thrusting the chest out. So we're trying to get the back bend through the upper part of the thoracic spine so that we don't close off the kind of upper lumbar joints. You may want to keep the arms bent or straighten them. Lift up, so feel like the collarbones are lifting up towards the ceiling rather than getting too much of a bend in the lower back. And then from here, maybe you want to lunge a little bit more deeply forward. But as you do that, notice if you start to feel hardness at the front of that left hip, can you soften and feel like that right glute muscle is almost lifting up. If you lift the right glute muscle up, you'll feel more intensity on that left hip flexor. Breathing here. One more breath. And then release the hands. Inhale, sweep them up overhead. And then as you exhale, bring them down onto the floor and come up onto the heel of that right foot. So toes up towards the ceiling. For most of us, we're going to have a bend in that right leg. So half Hanuman. Chest is lifted. Solar plexus, belly is soft. Think crown of the head moving forward. And then keeping everything still except your toes, turn your toes out to about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And if anyone does this and it makes them feel slightly sick, then I'm with you on that. It's just accessing or stretching one of the minor hamstrings. One more breath. And then gently come down onto the sole of the right foot. Bring your hands either side of the right foot, lift the left knee up. Step back, we meet in down dog. Good. And then when you're there, we're going to lift the opposite leg up. Roll it forward, land, drop the right knee down. Reach the arms up overhead. This time, bring the arms into goalposts. Inhale, and then exhale, draw the backs of the elbows together. Again, we're not flinging the chest out and crunching into the spine. Can you feel that lift up through the collarbones? One more breath. And then exhale, release the hands down either side of that front foot. Come up onto the heel, into your half Hanuman. Draw your sit bones back behind you. That might take you a little bit deeper. And then keeping everything still except the toes, turn them out somewhere between, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Bring them back to center. Come down onto the sole of the foot, hands either side, lift up onto the back leg, and then make your way back to down dog. We'll meet in down dog. From here, feet together at the back of the mat. Let's inhale the right leg up tall. On your next inhale, come really high on the ball of the left foot, and then snake the right leg forward, land it in between the hands or give it a helping hand. Staying up on the ball of the back foot, you're going to rise up. So the back knee can be as bent as you want or straight, but we're going to move the upper body here. So take your arms wide, and then it's as if on the inhale, really stretch the fingers away. And then as you exhale, draw them forward and into the body. Inhale, open out, and exhale, draw them in. So it's like you're kind of wrapping your arms around somebody and drawing them in for a hug. Wouldn't that be nice right now? And it may be that you stay with just the upper body moving, or maybe the legs start to get involved too by bending the back leg and straightening the front leg. Good. And then come back to stillness. Take your arms wide again, away from the body. And then we're going to take this into a twist. So hips downwards are going to stay really stable, facing the front. You're going to take your right hand back behind you, your left hand in front. They won't be completely parallel. You're just twisting. If anybody's feeling really open and mobile and wants to take it maybe into a slightly deeper twist, that left arm could come onto the outside of the right thigh, right arm up to the ceiling. Good. Bring yourself all the way back up again. Reach the arms up overhead, and then land that back foot in, open the arms, warrior two. And then my new favorite thing to do, some of you have done this with me before, I want you to now imagine that you're wearing a cape and you're going to start, waft is the best word I've come up with. You're going to waft your cape around, and it might go over your head, it might be really dramatic. We're just bringing movement in, and the legs can move as well. And it doesn't matter how silly you think it looks, it's just about movement. Couple more wafts. I need to time this. I need to put some really dramatic Paso Doble music in so we can waft along, and then come back to your warrior two. Going to pivot on the ball of the back foot to square the hips to the front, hands either side. Step back to high plank. Going to take this into a side plank. So option is to drop that bottom knee. Otherwise, well, for everyone, take the right hand slightly in front of the left, swivel onto the pinky toe edge of the right foot. Left foot can come in front, or you can stack it on top. I want you to feel like you're breathing into your right armpit, so you're not closing the armpit down. Maybe the left hand lifts up. Maybe the left leg lifts up. For 3, I knew that would happen. For 2, for 1, gently release the leg down, come back into normal high plank, and make your way back to down dog, however you want to get there. Good. I think everyone's there. So then we're going to lift the left leg up towards the ceiling, nice and high. On your next inhale, come right up on the ball of the right foot, and then bring the left foot forward, land it, rise up, crescent lunge. So again, we're going to, this time, bring the arms forward, scoop them in, and open them out. It's kind of the same motion. Or you could try it the other way. You could take the arms out and round. In fact, let's do that. It's almost like you're drawing a weirdly shaped figure of 8. And again, you can move it. I think, Victoria, you said your kids were doing dry swim training, whatever that is. Maybe this is the yogic version. Couple more. And then next time the arms are out side to side, we're going to take that twist again. So this time, the right arm comes forward, the left arm comes behind you. If you have any lower back issues or this feels tweaky, pop the left hand on the sacrum. And again, option if you like to take your twist deeper, that right arm onto the back of the left thigh, left arm up to the ceiling. Couple more breaths. So feeling that chest open and expand, whichever way you're in. And then on an exhale, unwind. Inhale, arms up overhead. Turn the back foot in, so turn the right foot in, open out warrior 2. Good. So we're back with our cloak. Maybe you've got an even fancier cloak this time. Just starting to waft around. Couple more goes, couple more wafts. And then come back to stillness in your warrior 2. Going to turn both feet parallel with the short side of the mat, so you're in a wide-legged position. Hands on hips. Lift up through the front body, but again, just watch out for tightening and tenseness, creating tension. We'll come into a wide-legged forward fold. So slowly feel like the hip sockets are just pivoting over the ball of the femur. Weight is evenly distributed through the feet. Come halfway to begin with, maybe starting to feel that stretch on the inner groin, but don't tense up. Let the pelvic floor be soft. And then continue that journey all the way down. So the crown of the head reaching down for the floor. I won't do that because my earpieces will fall out. And just start by resting the hands down. If they don't reach, that's fine. And then you can start to maybe explore different hand positions. So I'll give you lots of options and then give you some time to play. So one option is to grab hold of the big toes with your index and middle finger. And then the elbows bend, and you can use that to gently ease yourself deeper. You could hold on to ankles or shins. You could turn your hands so that the fingers face behind you and walk your hands through. As you do that, just make sure that the weight stays evenly distributed through the soles of the feet. You don't rock back onto your heels. So a few moments breathing into any areas that feel tight. And if you don't feel particularly challenged, then walk your feet slightly closer together, which sort of sounds counterintuitive, but you'll feel a deeper stretch that way. And then wherever you are, walk your hands back to center. And then this time you're going to walk them out in front of you. So you're in this kind of weird hybrid position between a wide-legged forward fold and almost a down dog. It's a nice way to get stretched through the side body again. As you walk the hands forward, don't tip the pelvis forward. Keep pressing that back. Keep pressing equally through both soles of the feet and let the head hang heavy. Couple more breaths here, nice, smooth, slow, even breaths. And then walk the hands back in. We're going to leave the left hand, the right hand in the middle of the feet. Bring the left hand onto the right, sorry, I'm trying to mirror you. What's that? Onto your left sacral area or butt cheek. Take a long inhale, crown of the head reaches forward, and on your exhale, turn towards the left. So you're in a twist. If this feels okay on your SI joints and your lower back, you might want to then raise that left hand up to the ceiling. You might even want to bend the elbow and bring the back of the hand onto the other hip crease. Just feel into the twist. And if it feels like you're dumping down into the wrist, then you could come up onto a fist on that right hand. One more breath. And then very gently as you exhale, unwind. Left hand stays down in between the feet. Right hand onto the opposite hip. Very confusing. Draw the crown of the head forward as you inhale and exhale, turn. And again, if you want to raise the hand up, then do so. Keep opening the chest to the side. It's progressive. So don't try and go as deep as you can get straight away. Allow a few rounds of breath to get you open. And then gently as you exhale, come back down into your wide-legged forward fold. And then one last little bit of movement here. We'll take this into some high snake squats. So bending into one knee and then into the other. Move from side to side, bringing some fluid movement back in. Obviously your practice, if you want to come all the way down, if you're feeling really brave, then take the hands away. I'm not. Couple more rounds. And then come back to stillness in the middle. Just pop your hands down and toe heel your feet in to position for squat. So Malasana squat. That might mean you turn the toes out slightly. And then when you're ready, sink down into your squat. If squatting doesn't work for you, just come and sit down on your bottom. You can have the legs crossed or out in front of you. If you're in your squat, up on the balls of the feet is fine. Just resting the hands on the inside of the legs, kind of to stop the inner thighs collapsing, not to open the groin and kind of wrench open. Just holding here. Press through the outside edges of the feet again so you don't collapse down into the arches. And then we'll bring the right hand down. We'll bring the left hand onto the lower back again. We'll just take this into a little gentle twist in our squat. If you feel like you want a little bit more intensity, you could take that hand onto the back of the head. Really gets into opening the shoulders. One more breath here. It's quite strong. Bring it back. Opposite side. So open out Maybe the hand on the back of the head. Good. And then release down. Hands down. You're going to come down onto your knees and then bump your hips to the side. You're going to come into a 90-90 position. So we'll have the right leg bent to begin with. The right sole of the foot onto the left thigh, left foot out to the side. Right hand in line with the hip to stabilize you. But again, what we don't want to do is kind of close that armpit down. So hands a little bit away, create some space. Inhale, reach the hand up and down. So you could stay with this motion, or if you want to, on your next inhale, lift up into that sideways stretch. Or that stretch down the whole of the side body. You could stay there, or you could come up and down a few more times. Might be nice to come up and down a few more times and then stay there, lifting the hips. But again, not crunching into the lower back. Just opening and stretching, maybe gazing up at the ceiling, but try not to close off the cervical spine. Let the breath be smooth and long here. And then when you're ready, gently come down. Sit up tall for a moment, and then without using your hands, cross over to the other side. So left hand out. Again, not right close up to the hip, so you've got this space. And then the right hand sweeps up. You sweep it up and down as many times as you want. And then if you want to stay, you stay. Explore that stretch. One more breath, and then gently come down. Take the legs out in front of you. Give them a couple of circles. And then hands either side of your hips. Just lift up and pop your bottom back a little bit further. So you're already slightly tilted with the pelvis. Take a seated forward fold here. So as you inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And then when you come forward, rather than kind of collapsing into the front body, which will give you stretch of the back body, I want you to think about keeping this long. So it's as if you're trying to catch a ball. Lots of you have heard me make this cue before. And as you do that, the front of the body stays long. And then at a certain point, you've caught the ball, bring it down to the ground. Keep long there, keep the collarbones broad, smile, soften the face. And then with that length that you've established, now come into your forward fold. Have the knees as bent as you need to, so that you can feel the stretch through the back of the body. This isn't about hamstrings, this is about the torso. Let the head hang heavy here as well. So starting to bring our practice into that internal focus, that inward looking that forward folds give us. A couple more breaths here. And then very slowly use an inhale and your hands to support you as you bring yourself up. And then we're going to come and lie down. So just check you've got enough mat behind you that you won't, actually I guess if you end up on carpet, that's not so bad. If you end up on a hard floor, that's not so nice. And then we're going to roll down. So chin towards chest, but keep the front body soft. There's no hardening, there's no tension. Gently bring yourself down. And then just take a moment when the body is lengthened out to soften, to release down. And then bend your knees, feet flat on the floor. We're not coming into bridge, but I just want to lift the hips up very slightly so you can slide your hands underneath, either both palms down flat or one hand popped on top of the other. And then draw the knees into the chest. And then lift the legs into your Vita Parita Karani. And the hands are there just to give the hips or the pelvis a little bit of a lift. So you've got a little bit of extra height. And last little bit of movement. So if you want to stay still, stay still. Otherwise, anything you want to do with your legs. Couple more rounds of breath. And then very gently draw the knees into the chest. Bring one foot down and then the other. Lift the pelvis, slide the hands out of the way. Now we're going to keep the left foot on the ground, left knee bent. Draw the right knee into the chest. Hug it in. And then cross the right ankle over the left knee. Arms down by your side. And that right knee moves out towards the right, opening up through the hip. And then we're going to take this into a twist. So arms can be down the side of the body. You might want to take them out at right angles, or if you're a bit pressed for space, turn them into goalposts. And on an exhale, you're gently going to draw the right sole of the foot down towards the floor on the left. So you will roll onto the pinky toe edge of the left foot. And then something I quite like to do is take my right hand onto my right hip and just draw it down towards the left corner of my mat. So creating a little bit more space into the right side body. And then just notice if in this twist, is anything tensed up? Can you soften? Can you release down? Two more long, slow, luxurious breaths here. And then use an inhale to bring you back up. Uncross the right ankle, draw the right knee into the chest one more time, and then land the right foot down and we'll swap over. So left ankle over right knee. Left knee moves out to the side. And then when you feel ready, just gently drop over into the twist. And if the left foot, I'm just noticing because this side's much tighter for me, if the foot doesn't come all the way down to the floor, you can just pop it on the right knee. We're still kind of in that shape, but maybe not quite so deeply. And again, left hand onto the left hip, just press it down towards the top right corner of your mat. Get a little bit more space to the side waist. Couple more breaths. And then gently come all the way back up. Uncross the ankle, left knee into chest, right knee into chest as well. Just take a couple of circles of the hips, one way, not of the hips, of the knees, one way and then the other. And then if there are any other shapes that you want to take now before we set up for Shavasana, and equally if you want to wrap up, cover yourself in a blanket, put socks on, props under the backs of the knees, or roll into a different position if lying on your back doesn't work. And remember what I said at the beginning, if you want to, I'm going to keep you in Shavasana for somewhere between about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm going to run over slightly because we started late. If you want to turn your camera off and stay longer in Shavasana, then please do. I'm not going to mind at all. But if you are ready, lie down. And once you're down, because everyone's working to get themselves settled at slightly different speeds, take 3 really long breaths, and at the top of the inhale, hold for a couple of seconds and feel everything kind of drawing in and tensing. And then as you exhale, soften and release. Maybe do that 2 or 3 times. So you get that real physical, visceral sense of letting go. Such an important part of the practice, Shavasana, when the body releases, repairs the neural pathways that have been reinforced or set down and activated. This is when the brain, well, kind of they get strengthened. The brain makes sense of the movement patterns. And also training the nervous system to move between activation and rest. Let your breath become super soft, super gentle here. Almost imperceptible. If I were to look carefully, it would be hard to know that you are actually breathing. And then start to become reacquainted with the physical sensation of the body resting down on the mat. Bits of you that are in connection with the floor. And start to bring gentle movement in when you're ready. No rush. And if you want to stay in your Shavasana for longer, do your practice. Stay as long as you need. If you are ready to move, then start with gentle touching of fingers onto thumb, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. And then maybe that expands out into broader stretches, rolling over onto one side when you're ready. And then come up slowly. You've been lying down for a while, so allow a slow ascent and use your hands to support you. And then once you come up, I want you to just very gently embrace your neck. So heels at the palms around the front, fingers towards the back of the neck. And just feel the breath moving down through the throat. And then allow the fingers to just gently move down, palms of the hands, onto the chest, onto the heart. And then slide down further onto the belly, through the solar plexus. And then maybe do that a couple more times, maybe a little bit faster, but just really stroking down the front of the body. The vagal nerve is near the surface of the skin in several places on this route. It's just helping to stimulate the relaxation response. And then if you're anything like me, my arms at this point are kind of like crying out, don't leave me out. So just stroke down your arms a couple of times. And then when you feel ready, draw the hands together at heart center, bow the head, keep the eyes gently closed. And just before we go, I just want to share this reading, which I found in one of my retreat folders, which I was looking through. It just seems really relevant at this time. If there is any need that is perpetually unmet on this planet, it is the need to feel seen in our humanity, in our vulnerability, in our beautiful imperfection. When we are held safe in that, a key turns inside of our hearts, freeing us from our isolation, transforming our inner world. If there is anything we can offer each other, it is the gift of sight. I see you, perhaps the most important words we can utter to another. I see you. I see all of you. Thank you so much for sharing your Saturday morning with me. Gently lift the thumbs to forehead center. Namaste.